Alright, so last time we had a walkthrough of Snowflake UI. We looked at some of the important tabs like Data tab, Admin tab, and Worksheets. Let's get on to the next of the steps in this hands-on lab. Going forward, we are going to load some data from structured CSV file, then semi-structured JSON format, and then get some data from CyberSyn via the Snowflake marketplace, and then follow rest of the lab to explore Snowflake features on that data. The first step, we are going to create a database called CyberSyn, and then create a worksheet where we will run SQL commands to do the rest of lab. So let's go ahead and create this new database called CyberSyn, and that's it. I have a database now which is populated with a schema called public. We can create a new schema if we want, and then create objects inside that. Once we have this database created, we are going to go to the worksheet tab, and I already have a worksheet here created called 0 to Snowflake with CyberSyn, but if you haven't created, you can create a new SQL worksheet and name it something which you find easy to understand. So I'm gonna follow the worksheet which I have already created, and I have also copied the SQL required for following the lab. So if you see here in the lab, next step we are doing is creating a table, and in this table we have different column names and the data types, right? So we have string data type, we have some variant data type for semi-structured data, and so on. So that's a table we are going to create inside the database we just had, and within that we had public schema, so we are just going to make use of that public schema. Now if you look at here, this worksheet has certain context. For example, which database am I going to operate under? In that case, when you just say create or replace table, Snowflake is going to create the table inside that particular database and schema. Yeah. So this is called context from a database standpoint. The second thing from a context standpoint is what role I'm going to use for running the SQL. Since I have multiple roles, I can choose any one of them. Now we are sticking with account admin here. Also, there is a virtual warehouse called compute_wh, which I'm gonna use for this. So these are the settings you can change here. So you can use any of the virtual warehouses to operate on any of the database tables. Yeah, so that's why we talk about compute and storage separation. So let's go ahead and create this new table. So all you need to do is select this SQL. You can do command return in Mac, or control enter in Windows, or you can select this statement and then just click on this run over here. Yeah. Since it's create or replace, it can run multiple times. So now I have my table created, which has certain columns and data types. Second thing we are going to do is have this thing called stage. Stage is a place in Snowflake where we can bring files. These files can be extracts of databases, or this could just be the unstructured data we want to have in Snowflake. And Snowflake can point to cloud buckets like S3, Azure Blob Store, and Google Cloud Store as a staging area as well. So let's look at the lab and follow the next steps. So it talks about the table creation, which we just did. And if you want to explore this table further, you can go down here and see what the table looks like. Yeah, you can also explore this in the data tab. So now if you go, you will find the CyberSyn database which was not there. Let me just refresh this UI